Hello and welcome to 𝙆𝙬𝙬𝙨 Speedway's Total Access Show with myself, Scott Frame. Coming up on this week's show, we'll have race action from last weekend's clash against the Poole Pirates, and we'll get reaction from that meeting with Bandits captain Rory Schlein, and we'll also preview this weekend's match against the Redcar Bears. Now to catch up with Saturday's Heat 4 action, starring that man, Bastian Bjork.
Away we go, about to find out, James. Starting marshals away, the green lights are on. Tape's held on an insurmountable amount of time, but Rory Schlein absolutely ripping from the start. That bike just lifting to the first corner, you see him feathering the clutch, and he's in front.
Yeah, Rory Schlein like a greyhound out the traps, but here comes Bastian Bork trying to sling up the inside of Ben Cook, but not quite getting there. Ben Cook got the drop on Bastian, was able to wriggle by him on the back straight there, but Bastian Bork is all over the back of Ben Cook here, and here comes Bork going for the big blast around the outside. Is there anything there? Not quite, but you can
this time, James.
You can rest assured that won't be the last of it. He's going to be buzzing all over the
Here
back.
he comes. Can Bastian get the better of Ben down the back straight?
Oh, that's tight.
Oh, it's nip and tuck going into turn number 3.
That is very tight, and Ben
Bastian
Cook
just keeps it wound on, and indeed he gets the better of Ben Cook.
he must have closed his eyes and just hoped for the best there. Absolute
blast by Ben Cook, James.
Absolute full commitment there from Bastian Bork. Brilliant stuff, and will we be seeing that one on social media in the small hours of the morning? I suspect we might. No doubt about the winner out in front. That was Rory Schlein, but Bastian Bork doing it the hard way once again.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff for the young Dane.
Rory, it was a heartbreaking end to Saturday night, considering the way the Bandits kicked off the meeting, especially in that first block of heats. 10-point lead that evaporated. It was just one of those nights that after those first 4 heats, you just couldn't seem to get out the gate.
Yeah, like I said to the crowd, at the end of the night, it stung a little bit to get off to such a great start against Poole, probably one of the title contenders. We were away, and and that's the funny thing about the sport. Did we let our guard down? Did we not watch how the track changed, and it did. The track changed vastly halfway through the night, and I can only speak personally that we seemed to chase it and go the wrong way, and that just sometimes happens, but Poole just adapted better. I think the track went to them, and they made the gates 1 and 3. They made it work where we didn't, and I think that's where the meeting was won. Necessarily, going to heats 13, 14, and 15. I think the meeting was sort of lost in them crucial races where we did have gates 1 and 3, and we just didn't make the most of it.
Absolutely, and I'm not going to dwell on Saturday night too much. The only question I would really ask from that is that Poole are considered probably title favourites going into the season. Probably couldn't have had a tougher home match in the Cab Direct Championship. Would it be a case for the team to basically show character about how we pick ourselves up from this now and basically catch a meeting back up and get an away win at some point as well?
Yeah, to be fair, I think it's probably a good thing. I'm looking at it as a sign that, it's a kick up the backside we probably need. We're beating Glasgow, beating Edinburgh, winning home and away against Workington. We've had a reasonably good start to the year, and, smashing Scunthorpe, where their riders ride our track really well. So I think it's probably a good thing. I'm looking at it as I said, well, it is something we need to think, well, hang on a minute, we need to make sure that we're firing every night, every race, every heat. I just think, you don't win the league in May. I think I've said this before, the season will evolve, it will change, there'll be injuries, there'll be all sorts, we'll get Curry back, and I'm not down on it. It's stung, yes, but at the end of the day, you don't win the league in May, and that's how we got to look at it. And there's no reason why we can't fire back with two big W's, Friday and Saturday.
And the thing is, Rory, of course, as we all know, the goal at the start of the season is to make the playoffs, to give yourself a shot. So nothing's all lost at this time of the season, as you say. I'm glad you brought up Louis. Obviously, it's not been the fault of any of the guests in terms of some of the matches, maybe away meetings, and obviously on Saturday night, Josh rode out his skin, especially come the end nearer the end of the meeting. Sorry. But how good will it be once we manage to get back Louis and get our full 1 to 7 back? Because we see throughout the years the teams that can basically avoid injury and maintain their original 1 to 7 are normally the teams that are right there at the very end of the season.
Yeah, well, obviously it's unlucky, and then injuries part and parcel of what we do. And Louis started the season really well as number one. It's the first time he's sort of taken that role and taken it, to duck to water. Really, he really has, hit the ground running at the number one, and it was just unfortunate. It was a very, very simple fall and just an awkward injury, and like we need him back. Quite plain and simple. I think he's shown that, in the first few meetings we had, and it's always good to have a 1 to 7. Don't get me wrong, we've had some quality guests in, Rich and Josh. They've done more than what they should be doing, and scoring good points for us. But to have your own 1 to 7 makes all the difference, especially in the change rooms. But look, we have to, like any other team that goes through injuries, just because you get an injury halfway through the year. I was involved with a couple of teams, winning the league. Obviously with Edinburgh, we lost Freddie for about a month once, and we lost 𝙆𝙬𝙬𝙨 and I think it was Scotty for a bit. We're not won the league with Coventry. So these things happen. It's not necessarily, yes, it's not great, but the good teams, the teams that go on, find a way, and that's what we got to do. So looking forward to this weekend. Obviously, we've got some quality guests coming in, so we're going to a club on a Friday that we know we can get a result there because we all ride the track well. And yes, they won at Workington, but I think they caught Workington with their pants down on a very wet and soggy day. So look, I don't read too much into that because it's a leveler. But I believe Redcar have been turned over twice this year, I think, at home. So look, they're there for the taking, and we'll be going there. We'll be going there for blood, that's for sure.
And just to pick up on what you were saying in terms of Louis, some good news this week is that he actually got his cast off, and he did tell us in Total Access last week that he's aiming for Scunthorpe on the 17th of May as well. So fingers crossed that comes to fruition and we can get him back on track sooner rather than later. Rory, you mentioned about Redcar there. They have had a mixed start to the season. Quite a shame that we're going there without Louis. Tom Brennan steps in at number 1 on Friday evening, but definitely a track the Bandits can go to with confidence that we can get something from the meeting, keep it close. But as I'm sure that you say in every interview and every time that you speak to someone, that you're going for the win, and I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that we go there and get a really positive result.
No, you got to have that mental outlook. You got to go there wanting to win. That's the whole point why we do it. And you look at our side and you look at their side. There's not much difference in the sense of quality and obviously guys who can score. Daniel rode there for a year and rides that place really well. I can get around there pretty quick. Tom's had a really super start to the season, so great guest to bring in. He was great around our place the other night. If we can just get riders like Jai and Drew firing on the same night, and I think that's sort of been where we've sort of just had that little bit of a dip, where these guys are just one will fire and one won't. If we can get them both firing on the same night, we'll be a force to reckon with. And you look at us on paper, we're solid. We are solid. So as I said, it's still early doors, but yeah, Friday's a win's possible. And Redcar will know that. Redcar will know that, and they'll want to be smart and think, losing at home, Berwick, it's like a wounded, lion. We're going to turn around and bite you, and that's always sort of when you least expect, to get turned over. So they'll want to have their wits about them.
I couldn't agree with you more, Rory, in terms of that as well. And I think the guys, You mentioned there about guys firing all on the same night. We've seen that on the Scunthorpe match. When that does then happen, we see what our team's capable of, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that can start to happen a wee bit more regularly. And the kind of, as you say, your 𝙫𝙬𝙬𝙨, your 𝙆𝙬𝙬𝙨, your 𝙆𝙬𝙬🫏 all kind of hit on the one night, and that's again what we're hoping for this weekend. And it takes us on to kind of Saturday night as well. It's important, talking to Stuart before and after Saturday's match, and obviously speaking to Daniel last week, the importance of people having a fear of coming to Shielfield in terms of we're not a soft touch, and that they know they're in for a real match when they come. It's important to kind of maintain that momentum, isn't it, Rory? Because although we've been turned over last week, nothing's won just now, but it's about regaining that momentum again, where teams don't want to come to Shielfield Park on a Saturday night.
No, like, I think we've taken a little bit of the rough edges out of Berwick in the last few years, but I don't think that's a negative. That's more of the, Berwick is now a proper racetrack where, everyone can have a crack. And but I think we showed it against Scunthorpe where, we can dominate. Look, it didn't work out. That's the we're not going to sugarcoat it. Poole were a great outfit, with quality riders, Rich at number one, we've seen what he's been capable of around Berwick this year. So where we've benefited from, and look, you just take it on the chin. Boxers sometimes, they get knocked down, they see the 10 count, they get up at 8, and then they get their senses back, go back to the corner and come out swinging, and the next minute they drop the guy on the other end. So look, one loss at home doesn't tell your whole season. So I'm not overly too stressed or worried. I believe in the lads, and and I think this is a playoff bound side for sure.
You say that as well, Rory. I couldn't agree more in terms of the long season ahead, and that's the thing. There is a lot of riders that then can bed into the season, so to speak. But one rider who isn't bedding in and has basically become a cult hero around Berwick so far this season for his antics is Bastien Vork, and he was quite incredible on Saturday, and the fact that he's still in the reserve position for this weekend's matches as well is definitely a plus for the team as well, isn't it?
You know what, if the lad could gate, he's going to be dangerous. There's times I look at it, I think he's given 10 meters head start, and then you think, he's not going to get there, and then next minute he just comes out of nowhere and rides through gaps that just don't exist. He's a lot braver than me. In some instances, there's been some moves I thought, no, maybe a younger Schlein, but yeah, he's definitely entertaining. He's definitely what Berwick need. He's that kind of guy that everyone just gets behind, because you just never know what's going to happen with him. Ideally, I'd like to get him out in front a bit more, from the start. I think he can be quite quick. So, again, he could be just a rider that will come good, as the season goes on, as in his gating. We know we've seen the speed, we've seen how he can pass. And look, and I think, he'll ride Redcar well. Nice round racy track. So, definitely beneficial, having him at reserve for the next 2 meetings.
His reserve partner, Freddie Hodder, we've seen him out after a couple of matches. I know he's working hard. He's been at Duns working on some stuff. He scored well in the British Under-21 qualifier. He's definitely one that we spoke at the start of the season, didn't we, Rory? And we said that there's no pressure on him. He can go out and ride his bike. But in reality, riders want to win, essentially. How's Freddie do you think, has been handling the kind of start to the kind of championship season? Because when you take into account the Border Trophy and how well that started in terms of the scoring and the way he was riding, I just feel as if maybe that kind of crash out in Poland probably knocked him for 6, really, didn't it? It took him a wee while to kind of get back into the swing of it, but I can definitely see that style coming back, and I thought I seen that on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think that race where he got round me and started to sort of loosen his shoulders, going into the corners, going in with a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more aggression, but I had this conversation with Stuart that I think it was after last week, or last Saturday, and you know, I think the worst thing that could have happened to Freddie was that first meeting. You know, he was so good, he was so outstanding. Everyone sort of just jumped back and think, whoa, you know, we got to remember, you know, he's only, you know, been on like properly racing in the bike for a couple of years, you know, properly, and he's done so much in such a short time. We got to sort of stand back again and think, let the lad develop. You know, there's going to be a lot of that, so we've got to understand and realize that this lad is raw. There is talent there. You know, you don't go out to Poland and sign, you know, in the under 21, under 24 league and them not think there's a bit about you. So, I just think, look, he's under no pressure under me and Stuart. We've said it, mate. He has got a clean slate all year. You know, what he does is exactly what we expect, and as in the sense of he will develop at his own rate. And if he develops a little bit quicker, then we'll reap the reward from it. So what we as a club and supporters need to realise is he will get better. You know, so, you know, just because he had that stellar first meeting at home, look, we've got to understand that, you know, it's not always going to be like that all the time. I, you know, went through the spell when I first come over. You have a solid meeting and, you know, everyone expects it the next meeting and then expects it again and again. It's all about learning. So, you know, the lad will get better and he will get faster. You know, I know he's got that in his repertoire, that's for sure.
And as I said there, he did score well in the British under-21 semi-final down at Plymouth. But talking to a few people after the meeting on Saturday, probably needs that run of kind of National League meetings to almost get some fresh air, get the confidence built back up again as well, and feel that winning feeling again. And I think that confidence is going to then spread into his championship form.
Nothing boosts his confidence in making a start and leading 4 laps. So, yeah, hopefully he's got some of their matches coming up, which I believe he has. And the National League is obviously a lot different to what it previously has been. So, yeah, more meetings, you know, at that lower, you know, standard, you know, and he can hit the front, you know, at Bellevue as well. Nice big track, fast, you know. So that will only benefit him. And, you know, mate, all the faith in the world that he will, you know, once we get to them playoffs, he could be the key, you know. So, you know, Stuart and Jamie would not brought him into the fold of Berwick Bandits if they didn't believe it. So, you know, future's bright, trust me.
Riders do settle down for heat number 8. The green lights are on. Oh, Max Berry having a bit of a nibble on the inside there, James. And he got away with that one, but Daniel Hume right round the outside. Is he going to get the better of everybody going down the back straight? Indeed he does, a 3-3. Bastian Bork with it all to do.
Yep, Daniel Hume getting the better of the Pirates pair, but they're packing it in the minor places here. But Tobias Thompson pulling all sorts of lines in behind his teammate Max Berry. I don't know if it's a bit of team riding, maybe trying to shield his younger reserve partner, but Bastian Bork is buzzing away behind the Pirates pair. And which way is he going to go? He's going for the big blast around the outside, bends 3 and 4, and seeing what's going to happen here. Bastian Bork, oh, he's very, very wide there. How on earth he stayed on, but he manages to keep it together. I don't think he let off the throttle at all.
He was almost on Shielfield Terrace.
Here he comes again, all the way round about Tobias Thompson. Has he done it? Not quite. Thompson closes the door, just over a lap to go. Oh, there's nothing between them.
All to do.
Here he comes.
He does get the better of him.
He's got one. Oh,
here comes Tobias Thompson.
Oh, is it going to go around? Oh, they're coming around into each other. What is going to happen here? Is it going to come between the two of them?
Indeed.
Oh my God!
He gets it on the line. That's a brilliant race from Bastian Bork.
Unbelievable. Shielfield has become unglued once more. Bastian Bork. How on earth did he get through that gap? He was like a knife through butter.